Communities calls out the city on a lack of accessibility.
And really is one big factor on why kids want to come to school, because they want to see Mr. Friday and they want to see what the show is all about on a Friday.
Plus, what a school janitor is doing to make lunchtime more enjoyable.
And in sports, Ohio football has a kickoff time for its showdown against Central Michigan. Newswatch starts right now.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Ariel Teppert.
And I'm Jack Green. It was another gorgeous day in Athens, but much of the region continues to face a severe drought.
Forecaster Steve Nedlick has more on when we could see some more rain again. Steve?
Yeah, guys, it could still be a while until we see some more rain after last week. I mean, that really helped our conditions even just slightly, but it still might be at least another week until we see some rain. As for today, we had temperatures as high as 78 degrees, but again, sunny skies and a low of 51. Now, the reason for that would be the high pressure system that moved in over the past 24 hours, and that cleared out those clouds that we saw at the beginning of the week that was left over from Hurricane Helene. So that might be the last bit of cloud cover we see for quite a while in this area, because this high pressure isn't really seeming to go anywhere. Now, due to this lack of clouds, we see overnight temperatures as low as 48, 49 degrees, and that's because those clouds are really not sitting in the area, allowing for that heat to stay in. It's kind of just letting that heat radiate back out into the atmosphere. So that's going to keep us having some chilly nights as these clear skies prevail. Currently, we're sitting at a temperature of 76 degrees and clear skies due to that high pressure system. So stay tuned for the rest of the week's outlook next.
We're taking a live look at the Athens County Treasurers Forum, which is taking place tonight at the Athens Community Center. The League of Women Voters Forum is hosting it. Tonight's forum is between Taylor Sappington and Dawn Deputy.
Sappington is Nelsonville's city auditor and previously served one term on Nelsonville's city council. Deputy is a write-in candidate. She is the treasurer of the Plains Volunteer Fire Department and previously worked as the fiscal officer for the Athens County Sheriff's Office. Without an incumbent in this race, both candidates will have to prove themselves to voters. The winner will serve until 2029. The League of Women Voters came to Ohio University to get students registered to vote. The nonpartisan group handed out registration forms and information to students on College Green. The event is part of a 20-stop tour to colleges across Ohio. The Your Voice, Your Vote, Your Power tour aims to get young people to the polls.
52% of those folks even participated in the last general election, and so we're trying to raise that dramatically, encourage these folks to get out there and get to the polls.
The deadline to register to vote is Monday, October 7th, before your local Board of Election closes. If you are voting absentee, you must request your ballot by October 29th. For more information about voting, you can visit vote411.org.
New court filings provide new details that investigators say paint the fullest picture yet of the 2020 election case against former President Donald Trump. Julia Benbrook takes a closer look at the filing and the fallout.
In a sweeping legal brief unsealed by a federal judge Wednesday, prosecutors laid out their most extensive case to date against former President Donald Trump for his alleged effort to overturn the 2020 election.
The filing starts with a very methodical presentation of the former president's efforts in each state to have the election results overturned.
The brief is partly a response to the Supreme Court's ruling this summer that granted Trump immunity for official actions. Special counsel Jack Smith's motion claims the former president took the steps he did as a political candidate, not as president, so he's not entitled to protection from prosecution.
The number one theme that you see repeated throughout this filing by Jack Smith, private. He argues all of this conduct was private, it was criminal, and it should stay in the case.
The 165-page document includes new details of Trump's frayed relationship with former Vice President Mike Pence and FBI evidence of Trump's phone usage on January 6, 2021, when rioters overtook the Capitol. Trump's team fought the release of the document, and the former president called it a, quote, hit job.
This was a weaponization of government, and that's why it was released 30 days before the election.
Trump denies all charges against him and is asking the judge for more time to respond to Smith's brief, pushing for a deadline that's after the election. Reporting in Washington, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Members of the Athens City Commission on Disability say the city's work to address accessibility issues is a systematic failure. In a letter to city officials, Commission Chair Davey McNelly says the city needs to make a plan that is compliant with the Americans with Disability Act and budget more money towards projects addressing accessibility. Service Safety Director Andy Stone says work on the plan has picked back up after work was previously started by a former city planner and assistant city engineer. Stone plans to respond to the letter by November 1st.
County fairs across the state are becoming more inclusive and sensory friendly. Last week, the Coshocton County Fair had its first ever AG for Abilities livestock show. In an effort to include more kids with disabilities, Coshocton is one fair out of the 30 that already have programs. The state fair happened over the summer, but it had universal changing tables and a sensory-friendly morning. Fairfield County Fair in Lancaster is the last one of the season, and it doesn't have a designated sensory-friendly time.
If you want to dock your boat at one of Ohio's state parks, now may be your chance. Applications to ODNR's Boat Dock Lottery are now open. 17 state parks across the state are participating in the program. Those selected will have the opportunity to renew their dock rental annually for up to 5 years. Applicants have to submit proof of ownership for their boat along with current registration. Applications close at the end of the month. New numbers show more Ohioans applied for jobless claims last week. This follows a nationwide trend of growing claims. The federal government reports first-time applications for unemployment benefits grew by 6,000 to 225,000. Economists expected the increase and believe the trend will continue in the coming weeks.
People who use the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program known as SNAP will soon see a slight increase in their benefits. Formerly known as the Food Stamp Program, the increase in SNAP benefits comes from a cost of living adjustment set to take effect this month. Households will see benefits increase by a few dollars per month. The increase will be higher in Hawaii, Alaska, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and Guam to offset higher food prices. The update comes with changes to income eligibility for the program. The net monthly income threshold for a family of 4 will increase from $2,500 to $2,600. A new court filing provides the fullest picture yet of the 2020 election case against former President Donald Trump, outlining what special counsel Jack Smith describes as Trump private criminal conduct. Washington correspondent Julia Benbrook takes a closer look at the filing and the fallout.
There's clearly a deal to be had.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg weighing in on day 3 of a massive port strike.
No contract, no work.
Operations at major shipping terminals along the East and Gulf coasts are at a standstill.
We have been engaging the parties on all sides, urging them to come to the table.
If the strike starts pushing into a second week, third week, we're going to start to see some disruptions.
There are already signs of supply chain uncertainty in some cities. Store shelves around the Hampton Roads area of Virginia bare of many essential items like water and paper goods as union members picket outside of the port there. Experts caution against panic buying, noting that many of those daily basics are produced in North America, not reliant on shipping imports.
We have thousands of cases that are on order for the holidays, and a lot of those are on the water now trying to get here.
For retailers who do rely on ships, like this wine and liquor store in Houston, a prolonged strike could dent holiday sales and frustrate customers.
The next thing is consumers will see higher prices. I don't like it.
Secretary Buttigieg says he feels both sides are not that far apart on key sticking points like pay raises.
In industry after industry, auto workers too, you've seen historic deals with wage increases for workers coming alongside continued business success, and that's what we're hoping will be the outcome here.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
Coming up, parts of the country are rebuilding tonight after strong storms, but federal aid may run out. What lawmakers are doing to help.
And find out how Hurricane Helene is impacting our technology here in Athens.
On American Experience, an actor who loved to play the hero.
I am not frightened by what lies ahead, and I don't believe the American people are frightened by what lies ahead.
A president who wanted to rescue America.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Reagan on American Experience.
Tonight at 9 on WOUB.
In this historic election,
Vance had this endless ambition to get somewhere.
This is a guy who is super competitive.
their influences and ideas
a pragmatic problem solver who really believes that government can and should help people.
He feels that the world is moving too fast and it's casting away its old rules too fast.
This election just became even more important than it was before.
Tuesday at 10 on WOUB.
We cover all the angles. We report the facts. We find clarity. PBS is here, delivering the credible, reliable, thoughtful election coverage you need to make informed decisions. PBS, your trusted election source.
Stop skimming.
Stop scrolling.
Just listen.
100 years ago today, they walked away from the
All you need
in one place.
every afternoon.
Los Angeles. I fell in love with pinball 6 or 7 years ago.
All things considered from NPR.
We are currently experiencing beautiful weather here in Athens with clear skies and temperatures as high as 76 degrees. But we are still feeling the impacts of Hurricane Helene as well as most of the country is having problems with our technology in terms of forecasting in the Gulf. Now, due to all of the destruction from Hurricane Helene, we are seeing a bit of a delay in the technology that is forecasting these hurricanes. So there is a big uncertainty when it comes to weather in the Gulf and how it is going to impact the rest of the country over the next week to 10 days. So that is certainly something that we need to keep an eye on as we move into these next few days. However, looking at the rest of the country, we can now see that a high pressure system has moved into our area and cleared out the remnants of Hurricane Helene, and that has given us these clear skies that we've experienced over the past few days, and it's really driven out that rain we've seen and those clouds that we got that slightly helped our drought numbers, but definitely didn't put a dent in the overall numbers. Looking at our temperatures, it really doesn't feel like October here. As we can see, most of the country is still seeing temperatures as high as 80, 70, 80, 90 degrees. So it really hasn't started to feel like October yet as we still see those summery-like temperatures. Looking into tonight, those lack of clouds is going to allow us to get as low as 51 degrees. And due to that lack of clouds, we are going to see low temperatures that will cause fog to possibly form in the area due to the low temperatures not being able to hold as much moisture. Looking into tomorrow, we'll see a high of 80 and again, those overnight lows of 50 degrees due to those lack of clouds in the area. Tomorrow, that high pressure system still is acting on our area, so it will be another pleasant day as another area of high pressure begins to move that out of the way. We might have some clouds move in Friday night, Saturday morning, but it really won't do much to our weather. No rain's gonna come from that, just a few clouds. Tomorrow night, we'll see that system move through even more and again, clear skies. Looking into Saturday, however, we start to see this front develop in the central part of the United States, and that may bring us weather through the middle of next week, and that might drop our temperatures off just a little bit, and we'll start to feel a little bit like October weather. Again, backing up, looking at the entire country, that system begins to set up, and we really start to see those temperatures decline as that system moves through. Now looking into our 7-day, we'll see after we get through Sunday, we'll have temperatures as low as 71 degrees, and they'll continue to decrease as we get to Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll have temperatures in the 60s, and then again, sunny skies again on Thursday with temperatures as high as 72 degrees.
You know, Steve, we saw all this rain last week, and yes, it's gorgeous, but these gorgeous conditions aren't something that we really need. We need rain to end this drought.
Exactly, and I think last week was pretty much all we're going to see of that for at least the foreseeable future, as that high pressure is really just going to dominate our area, and we're not going to really have any chance for rain to move into the area.
Yeah, how much rain do you think that we would need to get out of this drought?
So drought conditions are an overall number, so it would have to be steady rain back to normal levels. So really, it would have to be an extended period of normal rain through months and months, multiple months at a time to get our numbers back to where they're supposed to be. So it's not really just a week or two fix.
Yeah, so let's hope that rain does come maybe a little bit.
Exactly. That would be nice.
That'd be great. As communities in the path of Helene struggle to comprehend the damage left behind by the devastating storm, lawmakers are calling for action to help FEMA bring relief. Lee Waldman has more as other storms are brewing in the tropics.
This disaster in western North Carolina is catastrophic.
Nearly a week after Hurricane Helene came ashore, cutting a path of destruction across 6 states, President Joe Biden toured the wreckage Wednesday alongside North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper.
I approve the request of Governor Cooper for the federal government to cover 100% of all the costs for debris removal.
This after Biden suggested he would be open to calling Congress back from its recess for a special session to pass a supplemental relief bill. Last week, Biden signed a 3-month stopgap government funding bill in which Congress did appropriate $20 billion to FEMA, but some fear that will not be enough.
Well, all federal spending is about priorities and look at the swath and the breadth of the damage across so many states. But it'll take a while. It'll take 30 days or more for them to assess that. But Congress will have to address it.
As we look at the infrastructure damages to water, to the cell lines, to power, the ability to get those turned back on is going to be complicated just by the way Appalachia is configured.
Already, more than 3,500 federal personnel are helping in the recovery efforts. FEMA also delivered a cargo plane full of food, water, and emergency supplies to Asheville, North Carolina Tuesday.
We know that this is going to be a sustained operation.
In New York, I'm Lee Waldman reporting.
At this point, Biden has not called Congress back for a special session. They are set to return for their regular schedule in November.
Amazon says it is hiring 250,000 new workers for the holiday season. The number matches last year's hiring total. The roles will be in the company's customer fulfillment and transportation sector. Amazon says all seasonal workers earn at least $18 an hour. We have a major recall to tell you about tonight. Tesla issues its 5th recall on its Cybertruck after an issue was discovered with the car's rear view camera. This recall impacts about 27,000 trucks. The National Highway Transportation Safety Administration says the display may appear blank for up to 8 seconds when the car is in reverse. The agency says this increases the risk of a crash. Tesla says it has released a software update to fix the issue. Tesla's Cybertruck has had 5 recalls since it was last released last year.
The Justice Department and Microsoft had disrupted Russian hacking operations. Over 100 web domains from Russian intelligence agencies were seized. The agency allegedly hacked current U.S. officials, civil society groups, and Russians living in the U.S. The hacking allegedly sought to gather intel on U.S. and its allied support of Ukraine, according to U.S. officials and private experts. It was also used to infiltrate and undermine pro-democracy and human rights organization in the U.S., UK.
Next in sports, Ohio football has an announced kickoff time for its first game after its bye week. Find out when the game will be played and how to watch when we return.
Still ahead, what a janitor is doing to make lunchtime more enjoyable.
Let's start at the beginning, shall we? I can't wait.
People will be watching your every move. I can handle it. Let's go.
So, what's your secret?
Things are starting to move in the right direction.
Tell us everything.
Are you ready for
more? Just getting started. Locked on the target. Are you ready for more?
No one is going to tell me who I can or can't be. Troubles, honey? Like you wouldn't believe. Hop in. Every day, I see the evidence of all that love can do.
Whatever happens, we'll be together.
There's nowhere else in the world I'd rather be. This was perfect.
The Cartober fundraising drive is on. Help give back this month by donating your used car, truck, RV, or boat to our station. Donating is easy and it's tax deductible. Just call this toll-free number, schedule your free pickup, we'll tow it and give you a donation receipt. Can't donate a car? Spread the word by telling your friends or family. Learn more by calling this toll-free number or visiting us online.
Week 7 of Gridiron Glory is here, so it's time to shift into high gear. I'm Gridiron Glory Season 25 host Haley Hollinger, and this week we have lots of matchups with big implications. Fairland and Portsmouth will be battling for the top of the Ohio Valley Conference, while Eastern and Wahama take to the skies in a throwback TVC matchup. We'll have those games and more on Friday at 11:30 p.m. on WOUB and the WOUB PBS YouTube channel. Until then, remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
It's been a relatively slow week for Ohio football as the team's enjoying a much-needed bye week, strategically placed right at the start of MAC play. Now looking ahead to next week, though, we now have a time and network for the Bobcats' first road MAC game at Central Michigan. 4 p.m. on October 12th. That's your kickoff time and date against the Chippewas, and you can watch this one nationally on ESPNU. That's national broadcast number 3 for Ohio through 6 games in 2024. And there may be an additional chance to catch the Bobcats on network television this season. With 3 wins already out of the 6 needed for bowl eligibility, it's time to start thinking about a 3rd straight bowl appearance for the Bobcats. 6 national outlets have the Bobcats going bowling from Idaho to Alabama to the Bahamas. There are plenty of possibilities that will surely change. Ohio football not in action this weekend, but Ohio volleyball is, and they're back at home for the first time in 2 weeks tomorrow and have some recent history against their opponent. Ohio will face Toledo for the first time since the Rockets eliminated MAC in the Ohio in the MAC tournament's opening round in Kalamazoo last year. Now the Bobcats are looking to find a groove, sitting at 5-8 overall and have a 1-1 record in conference after splitting their opening MAC series against Akron last weekend, and not quite up to standard for what Ohio expects year in and year out. That standard is to compete in the MAC, and early on, they're in the mix, but need a win this weekend to keep up with the likes of Toledo, Central Michigan, Bowling Green, and Ball State, who isn't pictured, but was picked to win the conference by multiple media members and coaches. The time is now to start picking up some wins. Also at home this weekend, Ohio field hockey returns to Pruitt Field tomorrow at 1 p.m. to take on James Madison. Coming off an emotional overtime win, Ohio will need to bring its A game against one of the MAC's best. Last time out, Ohio took down Longwood at OT for its first MAC win, and no team loves overtime more than Ohio, it feels like. Get this, 3 of the team's 4 wins have come in OT. As we mentioned, JMU is one of the MAC's best, and they're off to a hot start in league play so far. The Dukes are 2-0 in MAC play and are tied second with Kent, who apparently is tied at 2-7, second in the MAC, 2-0 in the conference, 0-7 everywhere else. I guess that they know what games matter. Now, Ohio is sitting towards the middle of the standings right now. A win tomorrow would help tremendously. Flipping to high school, hard to believe we're already in week 7 of high school football, but that just means the games are going to get more and more important. Gridiron Glory's game of the week heads down to the banks of the Ohio River. Fairland at Portsmouth is about as good as it gets in the OVC, and it's a rematch of last year's playoff between the two. It was also quite possibly the biggest upset in the entire state last year, as 15-seeded Portsmouth took down 2-seeded Fairland. Hey, this year, though, neither of these teams are going to be near that 15-seed line. Both the Trojans and the Dragons are undefeated in OVC play so far with just 4 games left in the season. The winner of this one has an inside track to win the conference. Kickoff between these two set for 7 p.m. tomorrow. All right, super fun weekend ahead in sports around Southeast Ohio starting tomorrow, and you can check out the coverage of it all at woub.org/sports. Let's send it back to you.
Thanks, Grant. Still ahead, one expert shares the secret to living a long and happy life.
And stay tuned to find out what our weather looks like heading into the weekend.
It's in our blood.
It is living your culture to create.
The soul, that energy, it's me.
Oh, no.
This is a precarious situation. This really shows how desperate she is. She can't afford to go hungry any longer.
Oh, she jumped.
You've got company. These cubs are going to have to tread very carefully.
It's one of the most critical periods in a cub's life now. One of those cubs is going to get hurt or worse.
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
On Nova. Solar system.
Our solar system is filled with these strange worlds that defy all expectations.
The images were shocking. It doesn't seem to follow any of the rules.
And sometimes we don't understand which rules can be broken.
Strange worlds. On Nova.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
No world is truly unchanging.
This is nature at its absolute finest.
Our daughter, she's gone missing. I should leave this alone.
But you won't.
He's doing things no one had ever done before, and that is astounding.
It's absolutely mind-boggling.
This week marked a major milestone for one former president. Jimmy Carter turned 100 years old on Tuesday. Now, experts have tips on how you can live that long too. Experts say aging is marked by metabolism changes and declining immunity. Well, people get a little bit older every day. Studies show aging really starts accelerating around age 44 and again around 60.
Things start to change primarily at those ages. So those are ages where you should really start to pay attention to aging more than you normally do.
The CDC says healthy aging means making good lifestyle decisions and developing healthy habits.
After it gets boring in here. In here, you know, they may wait for a spill or something. So I threw a couple bags up in the air. All of a sudden, they
A longtime custodian at a Rhode Island school isn't just a custodian, but an entertainer. Freddie Bucci has been working at Barton Gregorian Elementary School in Providence for 25 years. For the last 5, he's been performing Freddie Fridays with his custodial tools. Bucci says the usual job can be bland.
After it gets boring in here. In here, you know, they may wait for a spill or something. So I threw a couple bags up in the air. All of a sudden, the kids got oh, wow.
After the performance, the students go back to their classrooms and Bucci goes back to cleaning. He has been dubbed as the best janitor in the world.
Yeah, how awesome is that? How awesome is that? We all wish we had some fun janitor like that in school, don't we all?
I wish. I would have loved that in school.
I know. But nothing beats in school recess. Now, if you're a kid and you want to go outside for recess, what's the weather looking like?
It's great for recess. I mean, sunny skies galore. That's all we've seen, or all we're gonna see, excuse me, for the next at least week as we've seen that high pressure begin to set up. And looking into the beginning of next week for recess, we'll see sunny skies all throughout the week with temperatures sitting around 70 degrees. So again, your kids can go to school in shorts and a t-shirt, maybe a sweatshirt if it's gonna be chillier, as you see those temperatures in the morning at 42 degrees. And this is all due to a high pressure system that has moved in over the past few days, and that's really cleared up our skies. But again, the lack of cloud cover overnight is why you see those lows so low at 42 degrees, 41 degrees, 43 degrees, and 48 degrees. So if you're doing anything during the night on those days, make sure to bring a coat so that you don't get too chilly.
That does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thank you so much. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.